Good day, good people. It's your boy Seth Guru Baxter with Maker's Bar, where we are looking to create 1 million leaders today for tomorrow. I am so pleased to be back with you all, and today is a particular fan out day for me. I am trying not to get myself too excited like a little schoolgirl, but we have an entrepreneur, a doer, a partner with Rotator, and a longtime person I have admired since coming into this podcast game to bring him and his skills and expertise to you, Michael Silverstein. Please welcome with me and thank you, Michael, for joining us today. How are you today, brother?
I'm well, blessed, grateful. I really appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure. And it has been, we've had a while in trying to get it together. So I'm really stoked to be able to have you on here today. It's absolutely an honor. And, I keep grinning ear to ear.
Likewise, Seth. Thank you so much. Honored to be here. I love what you're doing. I love the interviews I've seen. Most importantly, I love the mission and what the vision is. And I appreciate that. It's inspiring. So thank you.
Thank you. So, Michael, tell us a little bit about your origins. Where do you hail from originally?
Chicago.
Chicago. What part of Chicago?
Evanston, just north of Chicago.
Evanston.
Yeah. How was that? Chicago land. My dad was in the city. I grew up in Evanston, which is a suburb, just to be respectful. I live in the city now, but yeah.
Dig it. So you're currently still in Chicago?
Yeah, I was in LA for about a decade and then moved back here recently.
So little Michael Silverstein in Evanston, what was that like?
Oh, it was, I was, grateful for my upbringing and surrounded by love and loving family and a good community. Grew up playing saxophone and playing
saxophone.
Sport. Yeah.
Oh, dang it!
I got it in my other room.
Oh yeah. So if we have time today, do you think you have some time to spill some tunes? Just kidding.
It's sometimes I like going out and being outside because it's kind of a loud instrument. I don't have like a muzzle on it, but yeah, I love that. I love music and art, creativity, just kind of learning and experiencing and living.
Fantastic. Well, Michael, in living, it brought you to this stage of your life. So give us fill in some of the connecting points. So you're in Evanston, and from there, you start to see a mission on where you want to go or a vision. Or did you have something that you triggered your interest where you're at now? So give us from the time you're about 12 years old to present day, just a little bit about how you ended up here.
Yeah. So my best buddy, shout out E-Train in high school, rest in peace, Roxanne. His mom died when we were about 19, unexpectedly in, pretty, not that it would ever not be tragic, but bad situation that affected myself and kind of inspired me to help him in a way with his creativity and his music that we were doing some, but kind of further blossomed after that, and was a big inspiration to him. And I created. I finished University of Kansas. I left before my senior year and came back to Chicago to start a record label and a publishing company with my best buddy Eric, and got the dean of the business school and the head of the entrepreneurial studies, shout out Wallace Meyer, who's still a professor there, to create a curriculum to get my senior year credit around building that and starting like an LLC and an entrepreneurial venture. And it was cool. It was great. It's an amazing experience. Life is a grind wherever you go. It's been anything that is worthwhile and that, requires teamwork and a lot of, you got to put into it and build it. We were in Chicago, releasing, doing shows, promoting, marketing the stuff. I got some music publishing syncs and we moved to LA. It was maybe 15 years ago now. And he opened for Warren G at the Key Club on Sunset Strip and a handful of other shows. I got some publishing with Coke and Disney, And he's still creating and doing his thing. We're still close friends, and he's got a new project that's coming out. But through that and with that, helping him kind of navigate his creativity and turn it into a business, I started to do that with some other entities in town, at some startups. It's still kind of in the creative realm of helping at this company, Talent House, and helping bring kind of life-changing opportunities to the creative community for a range of creatives. And then I was an admissions director at a digital media arts school in Chicago as well. And just kind of have always, like, I created when I was a kid. I like drawing and playing saxophone and the creative arts, uh, but always felt like that's where I could apply the most value, is kind of helping navigate that world. Um, and so through that, in LA, about 4 consecutive like startups in the kind of creative space that started on the digital side, more of the creative supply chain, and through E-Train and just working with young, music and art creatives. A lot of it is translating that into physical products and creating physical goods, merchandise and apparel and all that stuff. So that kind of naturally, organically just developed. And I always like making things, with my hands myself, and creating in that realm. And I've always been very interested in that, and not in this space at all, in like gloves, is what I named my entity after my mom's dad's company. That was
Gloves is interesting. Gloves, Gloves.
Pierce. The Pierce Productions 23 is Pierce Glove Company in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
So there's nothing that I didn't go into the field that family's in, or any help or anything from them. But yeah, being blessed to be, have that in my family is just inspiration of kind of living, creating your own future and being an entrepreneur of various types. So that just kind of naturally came into then creating more and more things for people, products, and working with designers and stuff like that. And then about 7 years ago, I was at the last kind of company that I was at full time as like a entrepreneurial startup, was this company, The Studio, that again was a tech platform, but it helped democratize manufacturing. It helped the manufacturers, but it also helped creators create. And I've always just been really passionate about that, and making products, has kind of fueled that and turned into what I'm doing now. And then, yeah, it takes us to now, and just,
So
yeah,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. It sounds like music was your first passion,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
and then music, the production of music, and being a creator. That's where some of the other interests came in, and wanting to create things. And then that was a part of where you found your entrepreneurial spirit, or would you say it was always there?
My folks and brother would say it was always there. I had like I made business cards when I was like 8 for like a dog walking service.
Oh, yeah.
And I was always just like doing stuff to,
A hustler.
yeah, hustler and grinder, figuring out a
Okay.
way to create some value, or deliver something unique to people that want it, need it.
And so it sounds like, and I've noticed this myself. A number of the people I met who come from the area in Chicago, they have that grind built in. They have that tenacity to go and get.
Yeah,
And I love that in your profile it says doer. Now, it might be, sometimes people might find that hard to monetize, but it's an action word. And hearing you say how your upbringing was, that is a doer, a producer.
yeah, you got to go do it. You got to make it happen.
Right.
And yeah, it's the opportunities. There are opportunities, and you can make opportunities, and there's misfortunes and there's obstacles, and challenges and things, but in general, yeah, if, you do good work, you pray, you put in the practice and the exercise, and you sharpen a skill, and you feel like you have something that you are good at, or you enjoy, or you think there's value for, and you put in enough sweat equity and love into it. Generally, if you navigate it right, and you learn from the right challenges, and you get wisdom from it, and you grow, and you're humble, that you can create. It's not easy, and it doesn't. Sometimes it's good to just have a salary gig and do that, and you have your life that you're doing, because when you're an entrepreneur, I would say most types, but any small business, and I'm not like a entrepreneur like I'm building biotech companies or like raising venture capital stuff. Like, I've worked with that. I've got a niche that I like, and it's more of a profession, and but being a small business and having that be your main means, like anything, you have to have passion for it, and you have to commit to it and dedicate love and life to it. But there's
I didn't mean to interrupt you. When you mentioned the grind and the challenges that you face sometimes, what brought you over those humps? What would you say was your pushing point when you came upon challenges that were saying, "No, Michael, you can't do this. Hold on, this is not the right idea." What gave you the push through? What would you say was your initial foundation that helped you to find that within yourself, to push through, to get to the level of what you're doing?
A mentor, my pops would say consistent persistence was always something that stuck with me. And then Nipsey Hussle, R.I.P. the great.
Dig it.
It's a marathon.
R.I.P. That's right. It's a marathon. Yeah. Dig it. Oh, I like that you said that. Absolutely.
You gotta just keep going and keep grinding. And I've yeah, I haven't even like done anything. I'm not like a deal. I'm just doing what I'm doing. But I've had people be like, "Oh, you this, you that," and it's like I've had so.
I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people who say, "Yo, you doing this and doing that."
What's going on? And is this real? Like, you anytime you're building something on your own, or you have your own company, or you're trying to create something, like it's about the perseverance and about finding ways to turn challenges into opportunities, or L's become lessons. There's never a loss. It's
I like that.
What you learn from it, and how you're able to try and take something from it that is good, and just keep going. That's it, though. Like, the number one thing is you just keep going. You just have to
just keep going.
Yeah.
So that's the answer. So you face challenges, and you just have already made a decision. You just keep going.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to have some metrics to it, and be able to really analyze and pull yourself out of the situation, and like look at the numbers and economic. Sometimes it's a certain thing isn't working. Like, you pivot or perish. You need to either change something, or adjust, or whatever that project or venture or thing that you're working. Maybe you have to be able to identify or measure, like, what is success, or when is the walking away point, if there is, because there can be, right, depending on whatever the details are. But for the most part, I'd say the biggest factor is perseverance, and trying to find a solution, and learning from the bad and the good, keeping your head down, and putting in work.
In mentioning the L's become lessons, I really appreciate that, and I think a lot of people need to hear that, because we're so used to hearing L as take a loss, instead of turning it around into something positive. So you mentioned turning that L into a lesson. Would you generally find yourself a cup half full, cup half empty? How do you perceive yourself in that light?
Yeah, I would say it kind of like anything. There's waves to it, right? At certain times, I've always been half full and optimist, and nice guys finish last, and I got burnt by being too nice or too whatever as a kid. But there can be times when seeing a glass half empty or just seeing it half can be good, in depending on what the scenario is.
Oh, wow.
But generally, I would say half full for sure.
Half full. Now, you mentioned, does that go along with, I heard you mention pray. Do you have a spirituality that you focus into, or describe what that means to you? What does it mean to pray? Some people see their prayer as meditation. So, a number of people, I myself being one of them, having quiet time where it's dedicated to the higher being, the God, the creator. And then some people feel it's a walk in meditation. What does that mean to you? What does it look like to you?
My personal belief is that that all is one and one is all, and that, we are a part of the universe, very literally speaking, and spirit and God, source, nature, everything we are and see, like that is it. So I pray to the powers that are, and to the almighty source of creation and existence and consciousness.
Does it play a role in your work, a spirituality?
Yeah, I mean, it's mind, body, and soul. Yeah, it's everything.
That's it. It's a part of the everyday. It's a part of your who you are as a whole being.
Yeah, having a good, healthy, productive regimen and routine of mind, body, and soul. You have to be, in your sharpest, best form and state to do anything, be productive, be a good person, let alone like try and make progress in business in a challenging environment. So yeah, that's definitely the foundation.
I dig it. And then what would you say as far as spiritual connectivity now in the actual hard work and the grind itself? What does that look like for a person who is interested in manufacturing, or a person is interested in merchandising, and for lack of a better term, an all-around entrepreneur? What does that, incorporating spirituality and that tenacity, what are those words you would say to guide that person? Or if I can break that down a little more, if I can.
I mean, trust your instincts, follow what you think is right, but be definitive, check your sources, don't just follow, but be mindful and be aware. And I think that being spiritually aligned, or having a good foundation with who you are in a humble, real way helps in anything. So across the board, from just life to entrepreneurial ventures to making cool, or unique products that are going to resonate.
Having a niche, would you say having a niche?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good to not be completely siloed, and get a
describe siloed. Describe
just
siloed.
Like
Tunnel vision.
Completely and entirely. I only do one. Like, it's good to specialize. It's good to be a master of a trade, for sure. But there is value, I think, in seeing a bigger picture, other perspectives, and having a range of skills or interests.
And then if you had to say, I learned this lesson from this person, alive or dead, who would that person be? Now, you mentioned Nipsey Hussle, which definitely R.I.P., but alive or dead, if you would say a person who gave you some of that inspiration, who would that person be? And it could be two.
In a certain way, just because we're talking about business and spirituality, there's a polymath, Robert Edward Grant, who I am inspired by, and kind of his mind and what he's doing. And then various mentors of people I've worked with along the way that have, trying to think of like specifics. More will come out as we talk more.
Dig it. That sounds good. Well, as we talk more, I've been looking at Rotator and PP23. Give us a little description about those organizations and so forth. How did they come into being, and what do they do?
So PP23 is my entity for the various projects and products and partnerships that I produce and help develop and execute. Kind of a convergence of the digital metaverse, if you will, of helping digital brands create physical products, helping more traditionally physical brands create digital products, and vice versa. And then Rotator, two gentlemen, Adam Rosenthal, Andrew Lawfer, co-founders in LA, who I've worked with for like 7 years since they started Rotator. They're both they were FITM alumni, Garmentos that worked in fashion labels and like development, sourcing, production for years here and abroad before founding Rotator. And it's a private label, full service merchandising firm. So we help brands elevate their products and create, either new products and or kind of strengthen what they have going on, or help them create things with higher complex capabilities and specs.
Your cachet is pretty prestigious, I must say, bro. You've done stuff with Netflix and a number of different organizations. Give us a little braggadocious, dude.
Yeah, I've been blessed to work with cool, unique brands and artists and bands, people in entertainment, coming from music, E-Train, and then working in the music space, Talent House, and with other artist managers and stuff. Been really, really cool and amazing and just, yeah, a wild ride of working with people that you knew of or were a fan of before, and then like getting in with them personally is really cool. But yeah, a lot of music and film, TV, games, and other brands. But shout out Rep Jamaica. Good.
Oh, yeah. Good vibe. Oh, yeah.
Great, dope designer friend who we did Ludacris's 2023 tour with honor dates with Janet Jackson, some socks.
Oh, dig it.
And stuff, and a bunch of stuff.
I need a pair of those. You got two of my favorite people on there, Janet and Luda.
Thank you. Yes. And then Tribe.
Is that from Tribe Called Quest?
Yeah, it's the 30th anniversary of Midnight Marauders. We did
what?
We did that. We did
Family. I'm trying not to fan out. Dig it. Oh yeah. Oh wow, man.
Yeah.
Super dope.
Fun.
Incredible, man. And how did some of these partnerships come about? Was it just that some of them, because you have more things I want to get into, and The Walking Dead is part of it. But in creating some of these partnerships, what would you say was a key factor that helped you to get a rapport with some of the people? What would you say was one of the things? Is it just frank talk? Is it just a sly approach? Is it meeting and the spiritual connection? Is it we have the same business idea? What would you, in your own opinion, in establishing some of the relationships to do things with Tribe or with good youth, pardon me, what would you say is a connecting point that brings you to those relationships?
Just being dependable and doing good work. We haven't done any like marketing or advertising or cold, really. It's all been just building with wherever, we were, then referrals or people growing, people going to other companies that we had worked with prior. So very grateful and blessed in that regard. E-Train music and that world and relationships rooted a lot of this. And then the kind of kind of more, not corporate, but the entrepreneurial, the startup the tech ventures that I worked at in the creative kind of supply chain space, Talent House, Idealists, Sourcify in the studio, helping people and just doing good work. I think it's just really, being respectful and doing what you say and treating others how you want to be treated, and putting your energy into the work and letting the results speak for yourself.
And you said dependable, being dependable. I think it seems like that word, to some degree, for today, is going out of style. So dependability gives good word of mouth, which helps establish some of those relationships, or builds upon those relationships when they hear you have a good reputation. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, and I would say a big part of that, just like anything, any relationship, is expectations and communication. You know, and managing that. A lot of my job, I would say, is managing kind of inner communications between teams and people, and helping create just solutions and what do we need to advance, and really listening and asking the right questions.
What does your day look like as far as the culture of your office and your business? So Michael wakes up listening to some E Train and or some or some Tribe. So you wake up. What does your day look like as you're getting ready to go into work?
Yeah, I have kind of a morning routine. It's definitely do my kind of qigong and breathing, stretching, flow work, get some exercise in, um, yeah, food, hang with the wife before she goes to work, and then
Got to hang with the wife.
yeah.
You got to do that. That's right.
Make some food. We exercise, make food, talk about the day, what we're gonna do, and then get to it. Depends on the day, but a lot of it is calls and video meetings and just administrative, comms type work. And then I'm in Chicago, but I go back to Rotator to LA pretty frequent, every other month ish, and sit with clients. That's the other thing, or go to, like, I was at this Worlds Away Art Tech Music Festival that we did all the merchandise for this past weekend at the Monterey Fairgrounds, which was dope. So sometimes go on site to clients, but that's usually it.
Now, part of why I asked that, I've read a number of books. I'm sure you have, and it seems some of our past entrepreneurs, they seem to have some routine, whether it be,
You have to, yeah.
yeah, and I think that's a big part of it. So it sounds like a good portion of your routine before getting the day started is maintaining a sense of balance, of peace, and meditative, and that helps give your focus as far as the rest of the day.
And quite literally, when I said qigong, is balance and breath, and
Mm.
literally like stretching, breathing, waking yourself up, checking in with yourself, give yourself the right love, and kind of bring that foundation into.
Hold that point right there. Is give yourself the right love, and I think that's a very important part. I don't know that a number of people. I
It's
think more
hard,
people
but
should hear
you
that.
have to be disciplined. Like, there's so much noise and things pulling everyone in zillion directions, and like, yeah, especially with, I mean, any life, regardless of business, you have to, have a schedule, take care of yourself, do what you need to do, have goals. Especially if you're in sales or a more kind of performance dependent job at a company. And then, of course, if you're doing your own, entrepreneurial thing, that your time is all we have, and making the most of it, and coming back to, yourself. And in order for each person, for me, for us, for one, to be productive, or to, make the most of our time, we have to make the most of ourselves and our body, and like giving that mind, body, soul alignment the right love and attention to, my routine is, I kind of like do my qigong breath balance flow while I'm initially, it's more of like a meditative routine thing that I do with my foundation, but then some of it is me visualizing or thinking about my day, or what, my big priorities, or what I'm gonna, do and accomplish.
So Qigong, is that, now? Forgive me, I'm not quite knowledgeable. Is that, where is it? Describe it a little more.
So qigong is literally qi, like the Chinese word for energy,
Oh yes. Okay.
and then
Okay.
gong, manipulate energy. It's the root of like ancient Chinese, I believe, from what I know, it is a 1,000+ year old Chinese system of understanding and flowing with nature. It's what yoga and Tai Chi came from.
Okay. Okay.
So it's really just aligning your breath with your stretching in a harmonious way, in kind of a rhythmic routine that it's very much like yoga, but as opposed to just going to the poses and holding them, it's more about slowly flowing through them with your breath and like synchronizing your breath with your body.
And so you take a specific amount of time and you're
I try to,
focusing it.
as much as
You
I
do?
can. Yeah, as much as I can. It's not, you know, there's times where I don't do it every day or whatever, but usually if I need to like reset myself, you know, it's like stretching or breathing. Just like
Stretching or breathing.
Yeah.
Dig it. And then I was going to say with the business, I find that a number of us utilize a spiritual sense of things, or getting ourselves aligned, as you said, and it looks different for each of us, but I think a unique quality that entrepreneurs like yourself have, all of them have a similar quality. They find that sense of that focused place of balance that gives them the motivation for the day and gives them a sense of peace for the day. And this is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Michael, tell us also about Rotator, and is this where we get to the other stuff of some of my nerding out?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so on the client side, the ones that you've all mentioned, those are all from me. Those are my relationships.
Yes.
Rotator, I'm a partner in their entity, and we work on accounts, on like larger, enterprise type accounts together. So yeah, we work with Skybound for Walking Dead. I did some stuff through a different entity for AMC for The Walking Dead prior to that. And yeah, I mean, we can talk about any of the ones that I can like reel off a list, but like, yeah, a lot of
Walking Dead, I went to go to Walking Dead Invincible, which is one of my favorite shows on Netflix.
Yep.
Or no, Prime.
Yep.
Now I forgot. It's Prime, right?
Amazon Prime, Amazon Studios.
Amazon Prime for Invincible. Mm-hmm. So tell us about the Walking Dead situation. And if you have anything you can show us that I won't try and steal later. And if not, that's okay too. You can just tell us how the relationship was started as well.
Oh, you should have told me.
That's okay.
I have some production samples of the Daryl Christmas sweater that we did.
Oh, dig it.
Daryl Dixon, right?
Yes, Daryl Dixon. Oh yeah. That's that Daryl Carol. The new season has started, man. So I am yeah.
So I initially worked with them through ID10, Chris Hardwick, the Nerdist.
Yes.
He had a thing with the Talking Dead. It was like a
yes, I used to love that. Yeah.
So his head of like licensing and creative merchandising knew her from somewhere else. She joined there and hit me up. We did their Christmas sweaters a handful of years ago, and then totally separately, a different friend who was working at a company, a different entity, started working at Skybound. We communicated, and it was just the right time, and was able to help come in and help ideate and develop and make a lot of stuff. It's been awesome. Less Walking Dead now. We did their 20th anniversary was last year. Most of it's Invincible, and then most recently they partnered with G.I. Joe with Hasbro for this universe they've created. So
that's our that's our childhood.
We're doing that definitely geeked me out when I was like,
me too, man.
We're gonna do G.I. Joe stuff.
Snake Eyes, man.
That's
you got cool. Snake Eyes in there too.
Yep. We just did stuff for Cobra. I'll send you some of the products.
Yeah, I'm trying to be cool here.
G.I. Joe that was one, because that's such like a childhood. I was like,
right.
All right.
Right. That's how I'd be too, man. So what was that like? And forgive me, what are you guys doing with G.I. Joe?
We're producing a handful of products for Skybound for their They created a GI Ergonon universe with Hasbro. So it's just some accessories, right? Pin, bookmarks, patches, hats, stuff like that, pins.
I'm curious. So how does the creator meetings go? For example, with GI Joe, so they call up and they say, "Hey, Michael, we want to talk to you. We want to recreate this space for GI Joe." How does the creative process walk us through the creative process when you come up with what type of things you're going to merchandise, or where does it come to fruition with your end product?
It's a range depending on the client and project and program and all of that. Everything from, like, there's some stuff that we're on retainer and helping develop, like brand imagery, logos, identity, design, very, very early stuff, as well as like product development for new lines and stuff like that. So some of it is us on the creative or ideation side, pitching, replying to requests of, hey, we have this line project and here's our priorities or targets, give us some ideas. But some of it is, here's our tech pack, here's the last PO and what price we need. Tell us what you can do. And we're, just on the production side, executing.
Oh, okay. Okay, dig it. And then once it goes to production, on the production side of things, are you guys part of the distribution as well?
We do some fulfillment and 3PL. Like, we run all of Ludacris's website, and we do all of Ludacris's fulfillment and a few other brands. This really cool shout out Brella, best umbrella in the market, an ergonomic inverted umbrella that we helped develop and we produce and we fulfill out of Rotator's LA office globally. And they just got in one of the leading ethical retailers, Wolf and Badger, and for their London, New York, and LA stores that they're in, and we fulfill globally for that. And then last week it got on Good Morning America, and it was in the Good Morning America shop, and we fulfilled for that. We do some boutique fulfillment stuff. We're not like we have warehouses and 3PL entities that we work with, or our
3PL.
clients.
Can we back up for a second? 3PL. What is that?
Third party logistics. Okay. It's a warehouse that you contract that handles a variety of logistics, usually fulfillment, distribution. So they'll house the products, and then when an end buyer buys something, they'll be the ones to ship it. Sometimes they finish stuff or pack stuff.
3PL. And so after they do that, or it turns into you all working on future things based on the sales or production, or do they say, you know what, we've had just such a good experience with them, let's stay with them? How do you keep your business returning?
Yeah, I mean, that is that's a sticky point, but it can be a sticky point depending on what the scenario is. But usually, you want to come in and be able to talk about value and the services and what we can deliver beyond just one project, one product. And also most like in the industry can differentiate from if a product sold successfully versus, if it was made and produced and delivered. They're like different, kind of performance metrics. So most of the time, if there is a product that we make that didn't sell as well as the client thought, it's usually 99 or maybe 100% in our experience. It's not us, and they know that and they get that, it's a marketing or it's something after us, but our performance metric is the deliverable of supplying the goods and shipping it on time and helping get it there.
Okay. And helping get it there. And so it continues. It seems like what maintains and having return business is keeping a quality product, keeping your word, dependability you mentioned earlier.
More than anything, yeah, dependability and communication, because all we know about any plan is it's not going to likely go as planned. You're going to have to pivot, figure something out, make a move. So, anyone can look good when things are good, but it's more about, how you operate and act and how you create solutions and resolve things when there are challenges. which are inevitable in anything, let alone physical product production, global, getting goods from the other side of the world. So yeah, I would say it's more about trust and execution, and that you're transparent. And if something's wrong, you call them, and you communicate right away with some options of a solution. And yeah, under promise and over deliver, and build that reputation and that relationship with people.
How would you encourage someone to get into your industry? What would be the words you would use? He says it with a smile.
I mean, so most of the people in the industry are like traditionally, like Adam and Andrew went to Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. They were Garmentos. Then they worked at Tom Ford, Tommy Hilfiger, G-Star, Diesel, like brands, and came from that space. I guess I did in a sense and in a way, and had my time at those talent house and those places. But I kind of just navigated my own path. So I would definitely say, not that you need a degree or you need a formal employer job at like a established entity in an industry that you want to be in, but those things help, or find somebody who, it's great to do it yourself, and you have to go, while also building the right relationships with mentors or alliances with people in the space that you want to be in, that are doing the things you want to do or that you think are good. Getting in with them, or being aware of that, and not just being like on your own island, which is great to make your own things, but it's good to work with people in the space and learn from them.
Who are great mentors in the field of merchandising like this, or great examples when you think of your industry? Are there some examples that you feel this was a great example on what I do, for someone who might not know? So you and I have an understanding, but who's someone that we might think of that you would say, that was, for my work that I do, this was a good example of that? This person was, or this group, or this entity?
I would say in varying ways, maybe RIP Del Ferrano, shout out to him. He was a legendary entertainment merchandiser. His entity became Live Nation Merchandise, and now is now his Epic Rights. It was Signature before, and been blessed to work with him. And shout out Brian and Doug Ferrano and their family, and respect to them. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking of other people that aren't really like aligned with me, so I don't want to say them, but just like inspiring, creative, entrepreneurial people, that their journey of navigating their own path and being successful is inspiring. Even like, RIP Virgil, things like that.
Dig it. Virgil being
Abloh, sorry.
Who? I'm sorry.
Virgil Abloh, Off-White co-founder, first African-American head of Louis Vuitton fashion house, when he tragically died of cancer. He was Kanye's, was an architect and a designer, and came up around Kanye, was his kind of fashion stylist, and then launched his own, the brand Off-White.
Yes. See, this is education. I didn't know this, and I'm glad you shared this. So first African-American
head of Louis Vuitton, the label, the house.
I did not know, and I'm glad you shared that.
Pharrell took his position after he.
Okay. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I didn't know, and I'm glad you shared that. Those are some, and that's one of the reasons having these conversations. The goal of Maker's Mark is exposing and introducing people that have been behind the scenes and some of the great things that we don't know about. And I'm glad that you did share that. So, and then making the link with Pharrell, I think other people will get the idea of that as well. Now, in your office, what does your culture look like? The culture being, is your office always the culture fast paced and, okay, guys, deadline, or is there a slow burn where you feel, okay, we know our projects how do you create a cultural balance in your office?
In the Rotator office, that's our traditional office showroom space. It's a balance of both. A lot of it is deadline, right now, immediate, while also trying to kind of build that business that is more maybe ideal on like a scheduling side, and has more long-term projects and perspective on it. So there's a lot, and especially with, I mean, any physical good, but manufacturing, yeah, things take time, and we have, we mill fabrics and have pattern makers and seamstresses and cutters, sewers, dyeing, washing, printing, finishing. Those take, months for certain things, and then getting them from, we do a lot of stuff domestically that we're proud of here. But we, for the World's Away thing, we made stuff in 4 countries, and China, Turkey, Pakistan, and here. So, international, just getting things to places. It takes time. So it's not all like rush immediate, but I'd say it's a balance. It depends on the day.
And then if you had to say your leadership style, what does it look like? Are you more a, you know what, guys, we got this, it's okay? Or are you more like, get it done or get out?
Yeah, no, I'm and I should have said something in my upbringing when you mentioned that, Michael Jordan, and being blessed and grateful to like be a 90s, grow up in the 90s in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Just immaculate time. So he always, I guess after the Last Dance thing, who knows, but making your team better, and trying to bring out the best, and trying to help people.
Making your team better, you said, right?
Yeah.
I like making your team better.
Trying.
What does that look? So in making your team better, Michael Silverstein, how does he make his team better?
Try to help identify strengths, and challenges and systems and ways to be productive and be more efficient, and grow and develop and progress. Yeah.
Dig it. And in my looser days of where I had just my creativity mindset going on, I had not really explored how useful a mentor could be in getting me focused on business things, because I was so much in the creative space. Do you find it challenging to separate yourself, the business Michael, from the creator Michael?
Yeah, I guess.
And the two could be combined. The two could be combined.
I need to, I've got my drawing pad next to me. I like, wife and I paint and sip. More about the painting, and yeah, I think it balance. You have to have that balance. Yeah, at least for me.
At least for you. So, would you say, and part of your passion for this is because you created a balanced atmosphere, and that's what gives the enjoyment continually for it, because of the balance that you have with it? And also, your wife, if you don't mind me asking, is she in the same? Is she with your same company as well?
No, she is a primary. She's a second grade teacher in Chicago Public Schools.
Our heroes for sure. But kudos to your wife. Those are my superheroes. Yeah, those are my superheroes. Awesome. Seriously.
Yeah.
And then tell us more, please.
She's amazing. She really helps kids' lives. They come back to her, and she's it's awesome. It's inspiring and exciting. I love it. I love her.
Dig it. Oh, dig it. Then what do you do for fun?
We like going out, doing sports, biking, and seeing films, and going to theater and seeing live performances, and traveling.
All right. You said it. So the last film you saw was what?
Oh, I mean, I was speaking of like going out. The last film I saw, man, I'm like brain dead right now.
That's all right. Or last live event. It could be either one. Last film that you saw, you hated or liked it.
I took wife and I went to see a string quartet Beyonce tribute, candlelight performance in Chicago for our birthdays last month. That was fun. And then last weekend we were in Monterey for all the Worlds Away Festival with it was in EDM, more electronic stuff, but Tiesto, Chainsmokers.
Oh, dig it. Chainsmokers, they're super dope.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh,
dig it. There was the venue where Jimi Hendrix burned his guitar at the pop festival.
Oh my goodness. And I know the cat who made that guitar for him. I had the privilege of meeting that dude. Yes, brother. Yes, dude. He and I were just talking yesterday. Kid you not. He made it for Jimmy and he made it for his brother. And he is one of the coolest dudes ever in the universe. So that to me is big. So when you have to go away or you're deciding, I'm sorry, not to go away, when you want to read something, what or who do you read? What book, or if you are a big reader or not a big reader, who?
I have some people. I have some books. I'll pull out some books.
Yeah, some books.
Yeah, but I'm not. My dad's a writer. My brother's a writer. My mom's a reading teacher.
Oh, wow.
I was kind of the opposite one. Maybe it was like a rebellious thing. I love reading. I read a lot. I just don't like traditionally. Maybe I don't have like a book that I'm like reading a book. I should. There are some stuff I love reading. I have books here that I have read. I will start with my man
Sean King. Is that Sean King? Sean King?
Yes, sir.
I didn't know. Okay, dig it.
And then Tamika Malroy, State of Emergency.
Oh, dig it. Oh, you got two. Yo, Michael, you got some good people right there, man. Tamika Mallory. Oh man.
I agree. And then trying to see what else I wanna share. Yeah. Oh, this shout out my brother is a writer. He has his new book, Why We Root.
Oh, dig it.
Mad Obsessions of a Chicago Sports Fan. He's a dope sports writer and has, like, if you like Chicago sports or sports in general, he's an amazing writer.
We should get him on the show too. Let him know. We'd love to talk to him too.
He's down. I will talk to him. I don't know this guy.
Napoleon Hill. Oh my gosh, Kat. I have been a fan. I like you. I haven't read as much of late. I'm just getting back into it. But growing up, one of my huge inspirations was Napoleon Hill. And everyone kept saying about Think and Grow Rich and some of the other titles and so forth. But he has done so many greats. He is a huge, I've read a number of his things and just have thoroughly enjoyed it. He has been an inspiration.
And then shout out my guy, Robert Edward Grant, Philomath, the geometric unification of science and art through number.
Wow. What's that about? That looks fascinating.
It is about the geometric unification of science and art through number and how numbers.
Hold that, because that looks fascinating. I want to check that out. Philomath?
Philomath.
Philomath. I want to check that out. Who was the author of that one?
That was one of the gentlemen I mentioned in the spirituality and business.
Yes.
Robert Edward Grant.
Got it. That looks, so that one you're yet to check out?
Oh, no. I got page open nonstop.
Dig it. I am fascinated by that. I'm very curious about that.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
That looks fascinating. Yeah, man. And if you were, it's the last day on earth and you are there in all of your accomplishments and your works, and you must say the correct answer, which will only be my correct answer. Just kidding. What is the possession you would want to take with you? Last year on earth, most treasured possession you would want to take with you?
Well, you say possession. I mean, just my.
If there was, and it might not be.
wife, but she's not my possession.
Oh, oh yeah. Yeah. Wait, no, Michael.
No material possession that comes to mind.
Oh, dig it. So, and that is something I just have to address this. When I said take with you, so if last day on earth, you just want it to be, I'm taking my wife with me. It's our last day on earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as we're together.
Dig it. Yeah, that's perfect then. And then possession wise, I guess I could change that a little to say, I was gifted a ring by my grandmother, and I never would have imagined that, because she was long gone since I was a young kid. So, like something like that, where in this life that was a blessing to have gotten, or the family Bible. But for you, you would take your wife. You can take my ex-wife too.
You're funny. Maybe some. I mean, wedding ring or ring for my grandpa.
Dig it. Those are some, and I definitely don't. I'm not necessarily materialistic in that sense, or actually by any means, but I think more so the insight to some of those little trinkets or something sometimes is also a mirror that reflects some of these things here. But it is something in taking your wife. I get that. Now, what if she doesn't want to go? She's like, no, you're going, I'm not.
She's going. She's coming with me. We're going together.
So no matter what, last day on earth, you're like, honey, no, I'm going, you going too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Team.
So if you had to say some words of encouragement for today, the business community, it seems, and some of the people I've been talking to, it seems like we're rife with opportunities like never before. I definitely will say that. Not all of them flourish, but you have a particular niche industry. If you could give advice, is this an industry you would tell a young person, 17, 18, 19, graduating high school, this is the field for you? Or I shouldn't say the field for you, check out this field. Or would you say, if they said to you, Michael, I'm kind of interested, I love what you're doing, what would you say? You know what? I'm glad you do. I love what I'm doing also, but give it some pause. How would you guide that person that was interested?
Yeah, I mean, if they're interested, I would say go get hands-on experience at a maker, like factory floor, a printer, a decorator, cutter, sewer, somebody who's really making the stuff, and figure out
do an internship.
Yeah, get in there and become valuable, create solutions, try and be indispensable, and learn from people that are doing it.
Dig it. And then if you had to list two, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. If you had to say two things that gave you your encouragement to stay in as long as you have. So you've had the perseverance, you've had the discipline. What two things have given you the inspiration to stay as long as you have in your field?
Those
things. And that's a great answer. Just that was straight to the point. Just that. I dig it.
It. I mean, just continuing to see other examples, of stories of people that have done things and how they got there and what they did. And besides for, some luck, which does happen, but it's usually by putting in the right work and doing the right thing in the right time. And you get, fortunate, or you get good things like that. I would say, yeah, just.
I like that. Well, the way you said it, bro, I got to tell you, that's actually probably the best way to put it. You said that. Sometimes I'm learning also the most important way to put it is simply the one word or the word term. And you said that, and that I get that. I dig that. Michael, I must thank you again so much for being with me, brother. I didn't get as much fanned out on my Walking Dead stuff. I should have given you a heads up more. But yo, you more than surpassed it. I got to tell you, on behalf of Maker's Bar, we want to thank you so much for being with us. I thank you for our staying in touch and contact. This has been more than a pleasure and honor for me. Please, Michael, share with the people how they may contact you, how they may learn more about Rotator and your company and yourself, what your contact information and any other ways you'd like to be able to share with people how to reach you.
Yeah, so rotatorconsulting.com is that website, and MJ, my email is mj@rotatorconsulting.com.
Fantastic. And I want to continue to invite you, as well as I have some of the other guests. Our goal at Maker's Mark, and mine personally, is to continue to expand upon the network of creators and business entrepreneurs like yourself, that we create a synergistic effect to some degree, where we are all having been a part of this Maker's Bar thing, where we can be there supporting each other and putting good thoughts and positivity into all of our businesses, and hopefully make marks where we're all together doing something that improves our world and our country. And you, to me, my friend, and your consistency and your example and leadership are one of those things. So I'm continuing to hope that we stay in contact and create this synergy. I thank you humbly so much, good man. I really do.
I thank you humbly so much, and look forward to continue growing and chatting, and thank you.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Seth Garu Baxter with Maker's Bar. We are happy again to have Michael Silverstein with us. Please check out his company, Rotator. Give us a call if you like this video, as well as others, as I'm so happy to be back. Please press like, subscribe, and share with others. Michael Silverstein, blessings to you, my good man.
Blessings back. Thank you. Thank you, Seth.
You got it. Everyone stay awake, stay alive, and stay in love. Peace.
Beautiful. Peace.